Once again, just about ready to start with the press conferences from Duke head coach and student athletes from Duke University. Just a couple of reminders. There's no flash photography in this press conference area, and there's no video recording of any time. We're going to ask you to please silence those cell phones at this point. In the satellite coordinates, Galaxy 17, 4, the letter K as in kangaroo, slot C as in Charlie, and the downlink is 11784-5. Okay, making their way to the dais, Duke student athletes, freshman Zion Williamson and R.J. Barrett. Good afternoon, welcome guys. And we'll open it up for a Q&A right away. Please raise your hand if you have a question and wait for a wireless microphone to be brought to you. And before you ask your question, please state your name and your affiliation. And please direct your question to one of the student athletes directly. And we'll start right down here in the front.
Hi, RJ. Will Shanahan, the Georgetown Voice. You and Nikhil both being from Toronto, do you consider this a showcase for Canadian basketball in any way?
It's definitely great to go up against Nikhil. Growing up playing against each other, and definitely showing that Canada has some good players and that we're on the rise.
We're going to go a few rows in the back on the right-hand side.
Mark Berman, the Roanoke Times. Zion, you had to sit there at Castle Coliseum and watch your team lose to Virginia Tech last month. How much are you going to enjoy getting to play in the rematch tomorrow, and how much of a difference do you think you can make?
I'm going to enjoy playing the rematch because, it was very unfortunate to see my brothers lose, even though they battled really hard. And, I'm just glad to be able to go to war with them. I feel like I bring a lot to the table, obviously, and Virginia Tech is a great team. So, they won that game, not taking nothing away from them. So I think it's going to be a battle.
Go right down here in row 2.
Matt Sachs for the Hoya. This goes for both of you. Zion, you could answer about the play with Taco Fall. But at the end of that game, there was a very fortunate ending for you guys and for the play that you made to get the tip, then went to RJ for the game-winning shot. Can you talk about the emotions that went in such a short period of time that last game?
It was a lot of emotions. But, I think the main thing we both felt was just confidence because, like I said, at the 2-0 mark, Coach K looked at us and said, you guys are built for this moment. And, we were just confident with what we were going to do. So, I got the and one, but missed the free throw, and he followed it up for the tip-in.
RJ, anything to add about the emotional swing at the end of that game?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, just confidence. At the end of the game, you're not thinking about anything else but winning, and that's why we were able to make those winning plays.
All right, and right down here in the middle to Zach.
Zach Braziller, New York Post. Zion, how would you describe the last handful of months for you from the start of the season to now? I mean, could you ever pictured how everything would have kind of happened for you?
I didn't picture how things would happen for me. I kind of picture how things would like happen for the team because, that's why I feel like players come to Duke. Like they have winning history. You know, you want to be a part of like a great season. The season has gone very well, even though we faced a lot of adversity. But I think the season has like exceeded my expectations with how well it's gone.
Yep, we'll do a follow-up.
You talked about guys who come to the winning history. You know, when you got hurt, there was talk from people that he should not come back and play. That you're probably going to be the number one pick. That you should just get healthy and prepare for the draft. What made you want to come back and when you probably didn't necessarily need to risk health?
A lot of things. I mean, for starters, like I love basketball, so I'm not just gonna sit out and just watch my brothers play. And another thing is I made a commitment to them when I decided to come to Duke, so I feel like I wouldn't have been honoring that commitment if I would have just been selfish and say I'm done for the season. And I feel like I just owe it to them. Like they were out there battling. Each game they'd be like, "Yo, we're out here fighting for you." So, it meant a lot to me. So I was just ready to get back out there with them.
I'm going to go back over to that right-hand side. Okay, Ben, we'll start with Ben.
RJ, for you, how much, or what do you think has been most improved in your game over the course of this season with Duke? And I'm just curious also, how much did you know about Zion before you decided to go to Duke?
I'd say I've improved everything. Trying to improve everything every day because it's not one area that I'm perfect at, so I try to work on everything. And Zion, I just remember one time I was on Twitter, and then I saw him had this crazy dunk, and I didn't really know much. But as he, especially last year was going along, started to become friends, started to talk a little bit, and definitely saw the things he was able to do. So I was excited to come here and play with him.
All right, we'll stay here. Okay.
Steve Warner, Associated Press. Zion, you talked about kind of players coming to Duke at this point wanting to win. How do you guys handle kind of the expectation of you're the favorite in the tournament, you're the number one seed, you get the scare against UCF. How do you handle those kind of high expectations still, and how might that UCF game being so close help you guys?
Well, I'm going to start with the UCF part. The UCF part, I mean, that's just March Madness. Like, I think we should know based off the history of March Madness that it doesn't matter what the ranking is. Like, the game is completely different. Like, it's different stakes now. And for, like, the winning history, I think it's – wait, what was the exact question for the winning history part?
Just how do you handle kind of the pressure of knowing it's Duke and knowing that you guys – everybody expects you to go to the Final Four and that sort of stuff?
Oh, well, I mean, we got to thank Coach K for that. Like, he's been doing this since before I was born. He's handled being on top for, like, a long time. So I think coming here, like, I mean, he gives us the best advice on, like, how to handle this and, like, what to do.
Adam.
Hey, Zion, Adam Zagoria. In terms of the social media thing, everybody knows your Instagram and Twitter have taken off, and I think Duke's have also. What do you think about all that? And did you notice – it seemed like it kind of started when you had the dunk in Canada from the foul line or whatever, that like Duke's social media kind of took off. What do you remember about that dunk, and what do you think about all the social media stuff going crazy?
Well, what I remember about that dunk is I liked it, but then I also didn't like it because that's why I really haven't done it since, because RJ literally took off from the free throw line like 2 seconds before me, but people wasn't giving him credit for that, and I didn't want to be the guy to like take away like light from other players. And like I said, when people started giving my teammates the respect they deserve, then I guess I'll start doing more stuff like that. But it hasn't really changed. With the social media for Duke, I wasn't surprised by that at all. I think they were already like #1 with social media anyway. And for myself, I don't really pay a lot of attention to it. Like, I honestly don't post a lot because I'm just like focused on trying to win.
We'll go right back there in the corner, end of that row.
Zion, I read that your mother was a pretty good athlete herself. I'm curious, just how would you describe the impact she's had in your life?
My mom has had the ultimate impact in my life. Without her, I wouldn't not be in this situation right now. My mom has done so much for me to even be here. Like, I can't even say a lot of it on camera, but I mean, without her, I would not be here. Like, through ups and downs, she was there for me. When people said I couldn't do certain things, like, you know, go to college for basketball or like hopefully have a chance to go into the NBA, she was the first one there for me, saying like, if you work hard, do the right thing, you can do it. So, you know, like, her impact, she has the ultimate impact on my life.
RJ, when you think back to the Virginia Tech game last month, what does your team need to do better offensively and defensively to have a different outcome on Friday?
Felt like we battled hard. Zion was out. I was sick in the first half, didn't really play much. But to still be right there at the end was great for us. So I felt like we battled tough, and they just made, you know, more winning plays than us at the end. So just to, you know, clean up a couple of areas, and they have, you know, one of their key guys back, and we have our key guy back. So it's going to be fun.
Stay right in here in the middle.
Yeah, it's Sean Haggerty for the Hoya. Really for any of you guys, Zion and RJ, how have the veteran players in your team, the sophomores, juniors, seniors, been able to lift you guys up in tough situations and get you guys where you are now?
They've been able to lift us up a lot, like even from like the walk-ons, Brennan and Michael Buckmeyer, because they've been here. Like, they know what to expect. They know like that rankings don't matter out here. Like, this is March Madness. Like, whoever wants more that day or those 40 minutes, that's the team that's gonna win.
Yeah, like, all the upperclassmen bring energy. I mean, they bring energy, effort. They definitely help us to be able to, you know, have more confidence and to be able to do what we do. And like you said, they've been in these battles before. So, you know, they tell us to keep going and that they have our backs, and it's amazing to see.
We're going to stay right down here on our right-hand side.
Hi, Mark Herman from Newsday, New York. RJ, what is it like to play with Zion and all the attention he gets, and do you follow him on social media?
The question is, I think the question you should be asking me is, how'd I get him to follow me?
Oh my God.
Nah, it's definitely a lot of fun playing with him. He does some amazing stuff. Like in the UCF game, I think somebody was guarding me I couldn't really see, so I just threw the ball up anywhere, and he just jumped and got it. So, I mean, that's definitely great to play with, and he does so many things on the court that, you know, people don't really appreciate enough, but definitely fun guy to be around.
Aiden Curran, 24/7 Sports. To both players, do you feel that playing a close game like you did against UCF, does it help you a little bit more for the next game as opposed to an easier game where you guys just kind of blow them out of the water?
I think every game honestly helps because as you saw from the first game against North Dakota State, the final score didn't reflect on like how that game actually went. Like, they were a great team. The game was very close at first, and you know, coach was looking at us like, this is March Madness. Like, this is what goes on. And then in the UCF game, I mean, it was a tough game, and I mean, they brought everything. Like, they played their hearts out, honestly. So for us to win that game, it meant a lot. I think it showed our will and how much we want to win. But I think we learned from like each game.
I'll stay in that corner.
Jeff Zilgett, USA Today. Zion, what's been most enjoyable for you this season? There seems like there's been an immense amount of pressure on you. And did you feel a responsibility that you have to have a monster game every game in order to win?
Not at all. I don't really feel the pressure. And for the monster game, I don't feel pressure to have that every game. Because we have a lot of talented players on this team. So, like, we just move the ball and attack, and whoever has the hot hand, that's who's going to have that monster night. And we just, honestly, for us, we don't really, like, care who has that monster night because we're just going to be happy for that person. And, you know, we all have the same thing on our mind, and that's winning.
And we got time for two more. Yep, Zach, and then we'll go back
Zion,
over
have
to
you
Mark.
talked to any former Duke players about what it would mean to get to the Final Four and win a title? I mean, it's only been two freshman-led teams in the one-and-done era, the Duke team a few years ago and then Kentucky that have won it all. Have you at all thought about or talked to anyone about what the meaning of, you know, being the last team standing in March would be?
Well, I think that's another great thing about coming to Duke because all the assistant coaches have went to the championship game, and you know, they tell us the stories about how they had a battle. Like, I think each of them probably came in like a number 1 seed, but it was a battle to get there because, I mean, March Madness is probably the perfect name for it. Like, it's whoever wants it, that's who's gonna get it.
We'll take the last one from Marty.
Marty Smith, ESPN. What's up, fellas? It's funny to watch you guys watch the other one answer questions. You both laugh at each other a lot. What's your relationship like away from all of this as friends and as teammates when you're not sitting here in front of us or on the floor together?
Yeah.
Just like you said, just watching us laugh at each other, answer questions. It's funny because I know like what he's thinking and what he's about to say before he says it. But I mean, it's just great to have somebody that you can relate to off the court, and you know, I watch everything that he goes through and what goes on with him, and you know, definitely kind of he's helped me a lot, and just amazing to have a brother like that.
Zion, you want to add anything on to that?
I love him. He's my brother.
All right, you guys are dismissed. Thank you very much. Good luck tomorrow night.
Yeah, fine.
All right, we're joined on the dais by Duke head coach Mike Krzyzewski, and he'll give an opening statement, and then we'll open it for a Q&A. Good afternoon.
Yeah, we're obviously excited about being in Sweet 16 and especially being up here. Great basketball country, and our guys are, I think, a little bit fresher than they were last week. Marquise has continued to improve. He won't be wearing a brace on his knee for the game tomorrow. We're still not sure of Jack White. That'll be more doubtful than probable, but we'll make a decision on that tomorrow. So, any questions that you all might have?
Please raise your hand, and a microphone will be brought to you, and we'll start right here. Okay.
Coach Jimmy Patsos, NBC Washington.
Can someone else ask a question, please?
Gary couldn't make it. Your defense is turning people over, but it seems like a football team. I asked this to Buzz Williams. Your turnovers turn into scores. It's like interceptions that lead to touchdowns. And I notice you're pressing a lot. Can you tell us, is that a thing you have them gambling in the passing lane a little more?
Not so much gambling, but because of the pressure that Trey can put on the ball. It won't happen as much tomorrow night because you can't do that to them because they can handle it so well. But for a lot of teams, we're able to push their offense a little bit further out, and that makes passes longer, passing lanes longer. And then one of our strengths is our lateral quickness and length. And it has all the makings of a good defensive team, which overall we've been a really good one.
All right, we're going to go here, and then we're going to start making our way to the right-hand side.
Coach Matt Sachs for the Hoya. So this is arguably one of your most talented teams ever.
I don't know where you're at.
He's right down here.
Right here.
Coach, this is arguably one of your most talented teams ever. How does it handle for you?
Ever?
Yeah. I would.
Do you know what? How old are you? I just want to know how long ever is for you. No offense, but ever is a long time.
As a coach, how do you handle such a young team, but a team with such high expectations from day one into today as the favorite?
Yeah, well, one, we have a great group of kids. We are talented. We're young. You know, the two kids who are just up here, they're 18. Both of them are 18 years old. So you have to make sure that you're adapting to coaching a young group at this time in civilization, and not 4 years ago or 5 years ago. And these guys have been really good to adapt to. You know, our program has incredibly high expectations from within and from without, and that's good. And so if we succeed famously, and if we do not succeed, we have tried to succeed famously. And I like that aspect of our program immensely.
We're going to go to back there first.
Mark Berman, the Roanoke Times. Thinking back to last month's game in Blacksburg, what would you like to see your team do better offensively and defensively to have a different outcome tomorrow? And how much of a different game are you expecting, the fact that you'll have Zion and they'll have Justin Robinson back?
Yeah, I think it'll be somewhat similar because we're both really good defensively, and adding two of the best players in Zion and Justin, will only make it better. I thought, I don't know how much you get from that game. I'd like to have one more, like cover the corner, on penetration so we don't give Outlaw an open three. I'd like to hit one more shot, but overall, they played a little bit better than we did, and they're really good. I said at that time I thought Buzz really did as good a job as anybody in our league coaching, and they're veterans. They're together. They play. They don't beat themselves. They do not beat themselves, and I really thought at the end of the season that there are 5 teams from our conference that could win the whole thing, and the 5 that I thought are here are in the Sweet 16.
I'll go with Marty.
Marty Smith, ESPN. Coach, there's been so many unique aspects to this season for you guys. There's the Zion thing, which is its own thing, okay? You've overcome injuries to several key players, including him. 3 one-point wins in a month. A lot going on. How would you describe this journey to now?
Yeah, terrific. And I feel lucky to be on it with these kids because they put you in a position to win. And look, from the start to the end, we've kind of been the team. I'm not saying we're the best team, but we're the team that a lot of people have said they need to beat us. That's a good position, but there's a lot going on for that, whoever that team is. And these kids have handled it really well. And I do think we're fresher right now, though, that the ECC tournament, getting Zion back, really was phenomenal. But you play Syracuse, Carolina, and Florida State in 3 games. It's a gauntlet. And I didn't think we were as good in Columbia and as fresh and then obviously Central Florida was fantastic, but we've been trying since then get fresher, and I think we are fresher.
We're going to go to Zach, and then we're going to go there, and then we're going to go into the middle.
Zach
So
Brazil,
go
your
ahead.
post. Coach, right.
There you are.
You're
with forever, right?
Yeah. When you, yeah, I guess. When you talk about being fresher and maybe rejuvenated, do you think having a game like that for your young players is a good thing because it shows how tenuous this can be?
There's pressure on us all the time, and if you are like pressure or just play. Just play. The fact that I thought our guys were very resilient in the last couple of minutes of the game, for young kids especially. Actually, Johnny and I talked about it after the game. Johnny Dawkins and I talked about it, and then I called him the next day just to check on him. We talked for a long time, and they gave us a knockout blow with all those shots, and boom, 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 boom. And for the most part, forget about X's and O's, calls, or whatever. You're going to be knocked out. And our guys weren't. And that says a lot for these kids. And it says a lot for them. This has been a really good group. And winning any game, but that game in the NCAA obviously is huge.
Coach K, we're going to start right here in row 2 on the right-hand side, and then we're going to come over here.
Jeff Zilgett, USA Today.
All right?
I'm good, Mike. Thank you.
Good.
I appreciate that. Given the 24/7 news cycle, social media, the pressure of being a number 1 seed and the projected to be the number 1 pick eventually, what impresses you, or what stands out most about how Zion has handled all of that on and off the court?
Yeah, no, it's everything. Everything. This kid is. He's just one of a kind. You know, he's certainly a special basketball player, but as a youngster, he has a maturity. You know, it's uncommon. It really is uncommon, and how humble he is, and how fresh, exciting. You know, he's exquisite. Yeah, just the best, and it's been an honor for me to be with him on this journey.
Coach, we're going to go over here, our left-hand side.
Steve Wiseman, Durham Herald-Sun. Cam's shooting percentage isn't as high as some other guys on the team, but yet he's made some big shots this year. Florida State, Louisville last Sunday. How have you seen him handle the ups and downs of this season to be able to stay confident to take those big shots when he hasn't had a great year shooting?
Actually, you know, I think for anybody, if you keep bringing cumulative with you into the moment, you're not very smart. You know, and so you have to, whatever, good or bad, you got to get rid of it. And so in the last few games, actually, Cam shot very well. And, you know, he stays confident because he is confident, and we're confident in him. And, you know, we have confidence in him. But that's why, you know, I know you all get involved with so many stats and whatever, but you have to be who you are in the moment you're in, not the moment you were in. And that's what we try to get across to our kids. Just play this moment and don't worry about what's happened.
Hey, Coach Adam Zagoria, how you doing?
Good.
I think there were 24 Canadians when the tournament started, including RJ and Nikhil here. Can you just say a little something about what you've seen over the years of development in Canadian basketball, and how special can RJ be in the kind of the history of that group?
No, RJ can be as good as anybody coming from Canada. Obviously, his dad now runs, just took over. Actually, Steve Nash said he was running it anyway. And so, no, it's been like an invasion of talent, and not just of talent, but character. They're like this. RJ's, again, he should still be in high school. You know, he reclassified, and for him to have the maturity and talent to play at this level at what he's done, he scored about 800 points, and he's been with us the whole time. He's the one kid that hasn't been injured. And no, fantastic, just fantastic. And we're getting so many more and more players from Canada in the NBA and in the NCAA.
Adam, yep, go ahead.
Mike, Don Marcus from the Baltimore Sun. Do you get a sense that more basketball fans have embraced this Duke team, because of Zion, or maybe the freshmen, but specifically Zion, than any of the great teams you've had?
You know, I'll let someone. I don't really pay attention to fans embracing us, because we have our fans and we have people who don't want us to win. And for me to get caught up in what percentage or whatever, it doesn't. I'm just glad that people are attentive to what we do. And if they're attentive to what we do, it must be that we're pretty good at doing it. And but this group is a group that can be liked by a lot. If you like basketball, you should like these kids. Whether you like me or not, that's another question.
All right, we're going to go right here.
Joe Giuliano, Philadelphia Inquirer. Coach, another question about Cam Reddish.
Yeah.
What areas have you seen the most improvement in him since the season began, and what attributes do you like about him?
No, he's just going to be a constantly growing player. He's a young player. You know, he's got talent. He's a great kid, coachable. You know, he's improved tremendously defensively and in toughness, you know, just to be able to handle the rigors of this level of schedule. And, he's going to keep getting better. He's not, even Zion and RJ, these guys aren't as good as they're going to be. They're in the process of becoming, you know, and that's when you have a young team, it's not who they are when they're 23 and you look back, boy, you had those guys. No, we have them now, and they're becoming, and that's my job, is to help them keep getting better and keep learning about the game. And Cam's been a great kid to coach.
I think we have time for maybe one more.
Mike, Pete Thamel from Yahoo. Two-part question. You've obviously had a long association with Nike throughout your career.
Right.
I'm curious if you have any reaction to Nike Grassroots and EYBL being involved in the latest set of federal. Okay. And there was an intimation by Michael Avenatti, the lawyer.
None. I have no. There's nothing there.
Thank you.
All right, Coach, you're all set.
All right.
Thank you.
Got it.